I'm going to reveal to you the 2 and 3 year plan at Fuji. And it's a secret, except it's not a secret, obviously, to the folks at Fuji, and certainly not a secret to the folks at Nikon and Canon. Being a chess champion in high school and college has its advantages, being able to see 10, 12 steps ahead. This, and Fuji, of course, has already mentioned that they're not going to be making full-frame cameras, so they didn't have to say that for me to be able to know that they're not going to do that. I'll tell you why very quickly here. Fuji is coming out with a medium format camera. We know it's going to be basically 50 megapixel. We know they're going to have 2 prime lenses and a zoom. They're going to announce it supposedly at Photokina, or the day before Photokina, September the 19th, which is like 17 days from now. Released sometime next year. The great thing about this is that it'll be a perfect camera for hardcore commercial, hardcore fashion, portraiture, and landscape. And corporate gigs, like Learjet wants you to come out and take a picture of their new jet. It'll be for the working photographer. However, unlike the Hasselblad medium format, which is going to be $9,000, I mean, it's supposed to be $2,000 to $3,000 cheaper than the Hasselblad. I actually suspect that it's going to be cheaper than that. It's going to be probably in the $4,500 to certainly no more expensive than like $5,500, $5,800. Why is this important, and why is Fuji not going to be doing full frame? I'm going to tell you what their strategy is, and it's 100% logical and it's 100% intelligent from their perspective, and what Fuji's 2-year plan is. Right now, Fuji's about to roll out the X-T2. I've got about 6 hours of testing on the Fuji X-T2. Unlike Sony, no, I'm not bashing Sony, that has a dual card slot. Okay, Sony doesn't have a dual card slot. The autofocus on it is incredible. The camera store, with running earlier firmware, has already reported that it has as fast or faster continuous autofocus tracking. They're using an old version of the firmware as the Sony a6300. I've tested it. The autofocus is unbelievable. A bunch of people have called me a liar as far as it being faster in continuous autofocus than the Nikon D500. Well, it is, and you'll soon find that out in a few days. So right now, Sony has a superior mirrorless system with great customer support. It's made in Japan. It doesn't overheat. It has the best 4K video, and it is actually smoking Sony in continuous autofocus. So they've already dominated that field now. And of course, they've been making their own lenses for decades, unlike Sony. So they dominate mirrorless. Whatever you think about the full-frame sensor in Sony, they dominate APS-C mirrorless, and they're dominating mirrorless because, I'd rather take a crop sensor that has awesome customer service, doesn't overheat, reliable, so on and so forth. So they've dominated that field. What else have they dominated? And then I'll get to the medium format, and I'm going to explain what Fuji's strategy is for the next 2 years. Even hardcore Leica fanboys admit that Leica put the snooze button on for a few too many years and trying to stick with film, and they jumped in too late to digital. This is the camera that the hardcore professional Leica lovers, and I used to be a Leica owner back in the film days. Leica film cameras are incredible. Their lenses still are incredible, however the older ones are a lot better. This is their true camera. 3-stop built-in ND filter, the lens is incredible. This is what Leica wished it made. Not only that, it's infinitely cheaper and it's a superior product. So they already own that market as far as the rangefinder. They own it on the rangefinder like this, the X100T, and they're going to come out with the X100F in April, which is a replacement for the X100T. Okay, and they also own it with the X Pro 2, which is going to get updated firmware for much faster continuous autofocusing to match closely that of the X-T2, however not all the features. So they own this department, they own the mirrorless department, they have dual card slots, superior 4K video, no overheating, reliable product, made in Japan with great customer service. Why is Fujifilm not going to be doing full frame? Here's why. Fuji is smart. Okay? They are not going to jump in the pool of Nikon and Canon that has 1 billion tons of full-frame lenses, 600mm f4s, 400mm f2.8s, 500mm, endless primes and zoom lenses. They're not stupid, okay? Fuji has decided to A, win a war overnight instead of fighting a battle that they cannot win. What is the battle that Fuji cannot win? The battle that Fuji cannot win, okay, listen closely, this is why Fuji is going to be doing APS-C crop sensors. They're going to be doing, this confuses people, but it's going to be very, very logical, very simple, very quickly, okay? Fuji's going to be doing APS-C mirrorless, and they're going to be doing a medium format digital. mirrorless. The reason they're not going to be doing full frame is that a battle that they cannot win. They were going to let Sony, Nikon, and Canon kill each other in the process of competing one after the other in the full frame market. Nor can Fuji, even though they've been making lenses now for decades, they do not have the ability to win that battle. They're not going to be cranking out 300mm 2.8s. They're probably going to come out with a 200mm f2 or 2.8 for their Fuji X-T2 line, because it's already a super fast camera for sports action and photojournalism. The X-T2 is incredible. I've tested it, and I've got 2 on order, and I'll be getting 2 next week. Okay, so they're not going to win that battle, but what they can do overnight with the announcement that they're going to make in 17 days is right now you have in medium format digital, which is its own arena, where you have true hardcore professional art photography with incredible dynamic range. You know, Mamiya is great, but we're talking $25,000, $28,000, $30,000, okay? Now, the Hasselblad mirrorless medium format is going to be $9,000, okay? With lens, you know, $12,000, $13,000 for a single lens. Fuji's mirrorless medium format with one lens should be somewhere right at the $7,000 and less range. Fujifilm will win the war overnight. See, Fujifilm could fight a battle that they could never win against Canon and Nikon. Sony doesn't count. Sony doesn't make lenses. You know, they actually subscript Zeiss to make their lenses. Sony doesn't make glass. They only make cameras. They should stick to making sensors. So this is a battle that Fuji, and they know this, they could never win with full frame. People keep saying, why is Fuji going to be making crop sensor and medium format? What the hell about full frame? It's a battle that they choose not to fight because they cannot win it. Nikon and Canon have decades and decades of incredible, huge glass and all sorts of glass just, you know, busting at the seams from various glass factories in Thailand, China, and Japan. Less so now from Japan. Same thing with Canon. It's a battle they could never win. They could spend every penny that they have, and they will never win that battle. But the war that they will dominate, they will own everybody's butt overnight on. Okay? You basically got 3 options. You have the stratosphere up here where you can justify doing hardcore corporate gigs, $30,000 plus, digital medium format. Mamiya. Okay, great. Doing extreme corporate gigs, you're doing a high-end fashion photography for Vogue. Not many of you people, very, very few people are doing that sort of stuff. Landscape, professional landscape photographer, photography, professional medium format portraiture, which, you know, you have to charge a premium for because the gear costs and you're paying for the skills and the gear. They will win that war literally overnight. This is basically like Sun Tzu's strategy from the I Ching. You find your enemy's weak points. There is no way Fuji is stupid. They are not going to fight a battle that they can't win against 50, 60 years of Nikon and Canon glass and full-frame cameras and lenses. That's a battle that they are not going to try to win. They could never win it. Okay? Even if they had twice their current funds, they're never going to do that. But they can win the war overnight on hardcore professional digital medium format. They will win it overnight, and they will own everybody's butt. Let me repeat that. They will own everybody's butt overnight in digital medium format. So over here on this side, we have 2 different groups that Fuji already dominates on. Okay, this has already kicked Leica's butt around the corner, twice and back again. Okay, the Fuji X100T. This is what Leica wished it made, and if they did make it, it sure as hell wouldn't cost this price. Then you have the Fuji X-T2, professional camera, insanely fast autofocus, and a lot of people say, oh, I don't believe you, it's that fast. Well, I don't give a damn. When it rolls out here in about 5 days, you're going to find out firsthand that I was exactly correct. Okay? Dual card slots, insane autofocus. It's true camera, professional for photojournalistic work, sports action. I'm not a Fuji fanboy. These are the facts. Okay? So Nikon owns it in this department. They own it in the mirrorless department. And now they're going to win the war overnight with digital medium format. They don't have to concern themselves with Nikon and Canon killing themselves over full-frame cameras and lenses because they'll never win that battle. In that, they will have complete and total dominance in 3 areas. This area, rangefinders, X Pro 2, Fuji X100T. leaf shutter cameras, what Leica should have been. Sorry, Leica fanboys, but this is, you know this. Unless you're a fanboy for Leica, you know this is the case. This is what Leica should have rolled out, but never did. And certainly not at this price point. They own this department. They also own it with the XT2, which is about to roll out. I know that for a fact in testing it. So those are 2 areas, and they will win the war overnight on medium format. So those are 3 areas where Fuji will own the field. Everybody else, Fuji is perfectly happy with Canon and Nikon killing each other over full-frame cameras and lenses. Okay? They know they're not going to be dominating the side of the football field with 500mm f4 lenses. Fuji ain't going there. Okay? So the question to those people is, well, you mean they're coming out with medium format? What happened to full frame? If you understand what Fuji's doing, this is 100% intelligent, logical, and very wise. You never attack your enemy at the strong point. You go around the back door, you find the weak point, and you encircle them, and then you dominate them. And this is exactly what Fuji's 2- and 3-year plan is. This is what is going to happen. Okay? I mean, if you were Fuji, let me ask you a question. We've been making large format and medium format lenses for Hasselblad for some time. All we have to do is create a medium format camera. It will be superior, it'll be faster, it'll be cheaper than all other medium format digital. We will win that war overnight. Or we could dump billions and billions of dollars trying to dominate what Nikon and Canon have dominated in now for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. No. That is why Fuji is not going to try to enter the battle of full frame. It's a very intelligent choice. It's very wise. It's very logical. This is why Fuji is not going into full frame. Okay? So they own this market, the rangefinders, the Leica folks, they own it. Okay? Use the X100T and you've used Leica, they own it. Okay? 3-stop ND filter, oh my god. Built-in leaf shutter for high-speed sync at any shutter speed, oh my god. Extremely well made in Japan, oh my god. Better than Leica, period. Don't care if you like that statement, it's a fact. The XT2, oh my god. There isn't even an intermediate point. The autofocus from the XT1, which continuous kind of sucked, well, it did suck. Compared to the XT2, there was no middle ground there. Fuji made a light year jump between the XT1 and the XT2. People thought that the XT2 would be the next step. No, I mean, it made a huge step from the XT1. I know that for a fact firsthand. So this is Fuji's 2- and 3-year strategy. It's wise, it's logical, it makes perfect sense, and this is exactly what Fuji is doing and why. And all of those of you that asked why isn't the Fuji not making the full frame, that's why. If you got 2 choices to fight a battle that you can never win, or to win a war overnight, I will choose winning the war overnight, and that is exactly what Fuji is doing with their medium format digital release. Okay, and I promise you that this is exactly what will pan out at FUJIFILM Incorporated. And thanks for watching, okay? Bye.